Mazda, Acura, Genesis, they're all crushing it in a market that's falling apart. Today, we're going to have some fun with it. Welcome back to the channel. It is the beginning of a new month, and I just feel like a kid in a candy store. Or if you guys know that Bone Thugs and Harmony song, First of the Month, you know what I'm talking about. But for me, it's not about cashing them checks. It's about looking at the sales of the automotive industry at the beginning of each month. So I love going over to automotive news because the manufacturers don't post a lot of these numbers publicly. They do quarterly, a lot of them, but to do it monthly, automotive news kind of has like that secret in, and they know what's going on. And we'll go over some that have published their numbers monthly, but we need to get into it. Market slump 17% as chip crunch spreads, and we're just going to pause on this. I'm going to leave it on the screen for you guys after we just fly through this real quick, because there's some other things in this article that I want to go over. But just looking at this right now, Ford is down over 30%. Lincoln, you would think, you know, the luxury brands, because we're talking about some luxury brands here in a second. Lincoln is down over 44%, and Ford as a total down 33%. Holy cow, not looking good if you're a Ford guy or gal. Acura and Honda. Now, while Honda is taking a big hit, down 18%, nothing like Ford or Lincoln, but look at Acura, up almost 5%. And we're not going to be able to dig into the Honda and Acura sales, but we'll get it. We have some more details down below here in a little bit. So Honda not doing that great, but Acura killing it. Genesis is, well, yeah, their numbers don't really compute because they have an SUV finally on the market. So look at this, almost 5,000 units. They're trying to catch Acura here. That's pretty cool to see. So last year, only 1,360 units in August, and this year over about 5,000. Huge improvement. Genesis will never be the same. I just made a video on them recently talking about how Genesis is now going fully electric by 2025. That includes fuel cells as well. Crazy. So Hyundai's down 3.7%, but when you factor in Genesis with them, they're in the positive. They're in the black there. That's crazy. Kia Motors down 5%. Not that bad. When you combine it all together, Kia, Hyundai, Genesis down just 1.3%, and that's surprising because the industry, the supply industry is just horrible right now. Mazda 4.6% up, right up there with Acura. I mean, Genesis, like I said, is on another level because they have an SUV finally that's going to change. They're just in a funny position right now. Subaru down 15%, so kind of where Honda is. Lexus slightly positive. That's impressive for a larger luxury brand. Toyota down 2.4% and down 2% when you factor in Lexus as well. And then Volvo up 3%. We'll get into Volvo here in a little bit more detail. I just started incorporating their news and cars into the channel a little bit as well. So out of the manufacturers we talked about today, and a lot of them just happen to be the ones that I feature here on the channel, minus 13%. But I'm telling you, if you take away Ford out of this equation, it's probably something like only down 5%. So what this is telling me is that the Korean and Japanese manufacturers as a whole are handling this situation fairly well compared to the Americans, the domestics. So Ford and Chevy are just probably, we don't have Chevy's numbers. I don't expect them to be as bad as Ford and Lincoln, but they're probably somewhere in the 20 or 30s minus. All right, so I'm going to leave the graph up for you, and I'm going to read some tidbits here that Automotive News wants to share with us. So that they're expecting that buyers are not actually buying. They're finally listening to people like me, other YouTubers, and other people that are I wouldn't say I'm an expert in the industry. I just like talking about it. But they're taking our advice to not buy a new car right now. Prices are higher than they've ever been. And a part of that is that manufacturers are not incentivizing their vehicles. And dealers, since they don't have a lot of product, they're marking them up around sticker price, oftentimes way above sticker price. So if you can help it, do not buy a new vehicle right now unless you like wasting money, or you just have ridiculous amounts of money and you're just like, F you, I'm just going to go buy a new car and spend 10 grand more than I need to. So for Toyota, the Highlander is down 11%, RAV4 down 24%, Camry slipped about 3%, and Tacoma dropped 4.5%. Despite that, they're only down about 2%. So it's like, where are they making up these deliveries? It's hard to say since we don't have the numbers in front of us, but Corolla must be doing well. Sienna, Venza must be doing well. I think the Prius is actually doing fairly well now that gas prices are going higher. So it's kind of interesting to see. Their volume models seem to be slipping a bit. Their accessory models are doing pretty well. I mean, Corolla is definitely a volume model, but here we go. Toyota plans to reduce production about 40% next month. So definitely stay tuned as well. I should say next month is September. So it's this month. So stay tuned for the channel because when October 1st hits, you better believe I'm waking up. It's the first of the month, and we're going to go over all these numbers next month. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you enjoy this sort of breakdown, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Toyota's on an 18-day supply. Lexus is on a 24-day supply, but actual dealer stock is much lower because a lot of those vehicles that are in supply are actually in transit in the ports, so they're not really available. And a lot of the times, good luck, because most of these vehicles that are coming in, especially to Lexus dealerships, the vast majority of those vehicles are already spoken for. There's deposits down on them, and those vehicles aren't even going to hit the lot. They're just going to go straight to sold row when that vehicle hits the dealership. And yeah, the dealerships are going to continue to look paltry. Is that the right word? Anemic, lacking. Yes, they're going to be empty. Now, Ford, I don't cover them on the channel, but they're down massively. I mean, their F-Series is down 23%. Ranger is off 68%. Explorer down 57%. Escape off 33%. But it's just a complete shit show. And excuse my language, but Ford, you are dropping the ball with this supply chain management. We need to keep going though. So Honda volume is off 16%, sales down 18%, Acura is up about 5% like we said. CR-V deliveries fell 19% and Accord volume skidded 24%. Not good to see for their volume sellers. So for Hyundai, the Palisade, the Tucson, the Santa Fe, as well as the Telluride for Kia, the Seltos, and the Sorento for Kia, all those are down. Kia said it sold 74% of its available inventory last month, and Hyundai ended August with 40,000 or about 40,000 new vehicles in US stock, a decline of 15% from July. Subaru dropped 15% behind weaker volume for the Forester, which is down 27%. Outback is down a little bit, just 4.3%. Volvo rose 3%, 15 straight months of growth for the company here in America. Astounding. Volume at Mazda rose 4.6%, and we'll go into Mazda in detail a little bit. And just a reminder with Honda, their September deliveries, like Toyota's, are going to be down 40% as well. That's nuts. Like I said, can't wait for next month. It's going to be extra crazy. Now, if you want to look at dealer incentives, this is what the dealers pay to move cars. This is what you see in advertising campaigns like Lexus Cash or something like that, for example, Dealer Cash. These incentives are just plummeting unless you're Daimler for some reason compared to July, but compared to August last year, it's not even close. I mean, Nissan's incentives are down 50%. That's really good to see for Nissan. It's going to help them with profitability. Man, they have reduced the amount compared to last year more so than any other manufacturer you see on here. We're not going to talk about Nissan though in terms of sales because they report quarterly. But the winners here, Subaru is just, look at this, only incentivizing about $1,200 per car to sell it. Toyota just a little bit behind at $1,800. Hyundai at just $1,500. Honda at $1,900. This is crazy. The tiny amounts the manufacturers are incentivizing their vehicles. They're making a ton of money per vehicle, and the dealers are even making more money per vehicle as a result. Now, looking at average transaction prices in the United States, this is pretty interesting. Look how much more expensive, $10,000 more expensive Mercedes is over BMW. I wish we had Lexus numbers here, but they're all lumped into Toyota, unfortunately. But Toyota at 35,000, Subaru at 31, Nissan at 31, Hyundai at 31, Honda at 31. That's like the magic number. 31. $100,000 for so many of these manufacturers. That's really surprising me. But because Toyota has a ton of luxury volume mixed in, that's going to raise this number fairly high. General Motors and Ford are going to have high transaction prices due to their large volume of pickups that they sell. Kia, since no luxury arm is attached to them, they have the lowest on here at 27,000, even undercutting like Subaru, for example. Again, Volkswagen's pretty high because it has Audi. They sell quite a few Audis and not that many Volkswagens here in the United States. But the average transaction price for August was 38,000, but that's just the manufacturers we're looking at right here. We're going to talk about Mazda. I have not looked at these numbers yet, but Mazda, we have some highlights here. CX-5 achieved a 12% year-over-year growth for its second best August with over 15,000 vehicles sold. CX-30, which I just reviewed, the turbo variant of that, achieved a 14% year-over-year growth with over 4,000 vehicles sold last month. And looking on the left here, the month to date, Mazda 3 is suffering. That's a surprise because it's up 24% on the year, and that's even including this bad month of August for the Mazda 3. But look at the CX-30 up about 14%. Like we said, CX-3 is dead. Mazda 6 is up, but that's dead as well until we get a new rear-wheel drive inline 6 variant of the Mazda 6. MX-5 just doesn't, it's unaffected by the crazy market because it's such a niche car. CX-5, like we said, is doing well. CX-9 is taking some hits, but it's not that bad. Only a 2.5% down, which is doing pretty well considering the industry right now. So looking at year-over-year change for Mazda, overall, they're up 39% compared to last year. That's just crazy that they're able to meet that capacity. And looking at their total units sold, they've sold about 70,000 more units. It's impressive that they're able to churn out that many more units, especially from their factories coming all the way from Japan. That's where most of their cars are coming from. I know a few of them are produced in Mexico, and then we'll have some actually produced at the Mazda Toyota plant in Alabama. We don't know what that vehicle is going to be other than a hybrid crossover. It could be something like a clone of the Corolla Cross that is built alongside, or it could be something like a Mazda CX-50. Who knows? It's really, really hard to say what's coming out of that Mazda Toyota plant on the Mazda side of things. Looking at the August sales for Hyundai now, Elantra's up big with that new redesign. The Ioniq is up, which they don't sell that many of those, but people want fuel efficient cars. So that doesn't surprise me. And there's probably good incentives on the Ioniqs right now as they're switching to the Ioniq brand instead of a single model that has different variations. The Kona down 30%. That's kind of surprising. They probably just can't supply enough of them. That would be my guess, because that market that the Kona is, the subcompact crossover that like the all new Corolla Cross is on, for example, that market is doing really well. Palisade down 3% due to supply restrictions. Santa Cruz, I've seen 2 of them on the streets already here in Naples. So this is good to see that they're able to get some volume out already, over 1,200 units for its first month ever. Santa Fe, man, really struggling, minus 21% due to the supply issues. Sonata up 4%, seeing some better luck than, let's say, the Camry and the Honda Accord here. Maybe it's because the Accord and the Camry don't have volume, so maybe the Sonata is reaping some benefits here. It's really hard to say. Tucson down 4%. In a normal world, that would never happen because it was just redesigned. So this new redesign should be doing way better. Veloster's pretty much been canceled here. And Venue up 8%. Venue still a new model, but it's a very low volume model. It's not a high profit model. I don't ever expect Hyundai to want to sell these in high volume because of the profit margins on such a cheap car. Kia provided numbers as well. Haven't read this one either. Kia never provides percentages, which is really frustrating since everyone else does. But here we go. 2021 is on the left here, and Forte is up. The K5 is up, which doesn't really surprise me, seeing that the Sonata was up. Cadenza, rest in peace. Stinger is actually a little bit higher than last year, and we're just kind of waiting on official confirmation for the Stinger to be officially axed by Kia. Everything's pointing to that the spring of 2022 is going to be its last production run. Kia Soul doing really well, up about 600, 500, 600 units here. Nero's about equal here, but it's a fairly low volume car. Seltos taking a huge hit because the volume just can't be provided. So sales are about half of what they were last year. Sportage is up though, so that's good to see. But yeah, we can't wait for the new Sportage. So the Sportage is up due to the fact that despite it being the ugly model that's been around forever, so the pricing must be right on it and the availability must be good on it as well. Sorrento just getting kicked in the pants, almost down 50%, and this is one of their volume sellers. That's just really tough to see for Kia here, but they're able to keep really close supply of the Telluride, so that's good to see for them. The Carnival, man, one of the best minivans out there from what I hear. Haven't tested yet. I'm still waiting. I cannot wait to test this vehicle. I'll throw all my kids in it, test it. But anyways, it's up about 150% here. And you got to keep in mind, minivans are one of the lowest available vehicles on the market. I would assume the large pickup trucks are up there as well because the supply has just been decimated due to what's going on. But minivans, very sought after right now. So Kia just barely down, and then we'll finish with Volvo here. Year to date, sales are up about 36%. Like I said earlier, 15 consecutive months of year-over-year growth. Recharge models are big in California, but just 18.5% in the rest of the United States, or should I say in total of the United States. So outside of California, it's way lower than 18% for the plug-in take rate, but overall their sales are up 6.3% year to date. And I'm going to end it there. Crazy times in the automotive industry. If you enjoyed it, haven't hit the like button, smash it, and I will see you in the next video, but hopefully as well in the next first of the month. I should probably make that like a playlist on the channel. Would you guys like that? First of the month, wake up. I don't know. Maybe I'm too like 90s hip hop for most of my audience, but man, it's so good. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace out.